So you're thinking about moving to Gilbert, Arizona, but you want to know the good and bad before you do? Well, that's exactly what we are going to talk about in this video. We're going to share with you the pros and cons of living in Gilbert, Arizona, and you don't want to go anywhere because right at the end, we're revealing a con that is seldom talked about, and it is something that you definitely want to know before moving here. So buckle up and let's dive right into the heart of Gilbert. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything that there is about eating, sleeping, working, playing, the good, the bad of living in Phoenix, Arizona and surrounding areas like Gilbert, then subscribe below, tap the bell for notifications so you can be the first to know about the current market in Phoenix, Arizona. My name is Greta and my partners Christina and Ann and I, we just love helping people just like you make their move here. So whether that's in 9 days or 9 months, feel free to reach out. All of our contact info is below and we would be happy to help you make a smooth move to Phoenix or Gilbert, as we are going to talk about in today's video. All right, talking about Gilbert pros and cons. Christina, why don't you start us off there with pro number one?
I will do that. Gilbert is one of the best suburbs to raise a family. In fact, one of the best cities in America to raise a family. You know, raising a family is great fun, and you got to have fun with your kids to raise a family, and there's a lot to do in Gilbert. There is a premier sports complex, which is called Cactus Yards. There's tournaments that go on. There's big grassy areas, just concession stands, great place to be. There's a wonderful dog park that has a lake where you're with a dog beach. There is a 4,000 square foot splash pad that your children can use all year round. It's open all year round. It's called the Falls. And there's also Riparian Preserve, which is 160 acres of wetlands that there's trails. Those are just a handful of things that you can do in Gilbert with your family. It is a great place to raise a family. And there, you know, I just remembered another place. There's a large ice skating rink there.
Really?
You can take hockey lessons, figure skating lessons. There's hockey games. There's once again tournaments there. For whatever your children like to do, you can find it in Gilbert.
Well, and I would play on from a family perspective is the downtown Gilbert is one of my faves. Yeah. And I've been there many times for dinner and lunch. And it is the place to go. What is there, 25 restaurants, little shops to shop and walk around.
Shady.
And it's just beautiful. And it is a destination that people come from other cities to go to. And very family oriented.
Oh, we were down there yesterday and there was a restaurant. Don't ask me which one it was because I do not remember. But they had a table, like a big, almost looked like a picnic table, but the seats were swings. And I'm going to tell you, when my kids were young, that would have been the best. I know.
Yeah, I know.
Right? Yeah, would have loved that.
Yeah.
Well, playing on a great place to raise a family is that Gilbert is very low crime city. In fact, 10th safest city in America, according to Wallet Hub. Now that was a 2020 survey, was the last. One of the reasons why that is because they believe in community policing. So they don't just rely on city police. That's what Gilbert is built on, is community and really just looking after each other. The violent crime score for national average is 22.7. Gilbert comes in at a 10.
That's great.
Once again, fantastic.
This is where you want to raise your family. This is where you want to feel comfortable living with your children.
Yep. I think we all long for those days where people talk about, you want those days where you can send your kid outside to play and ride their bike, and Gilbert's that place.
And then what was the age? The average age?
The population, the percentage of population in Gilbert, the highest percentage is under 44 years of age. And the next percentage right up to that is under 17 years old. You tend to find very large homes there in Gilbert. You can find all sizes, but if you're looking for a large home with a large lot, Gilbert is where you're going to find it. All the amenities that you need for everyday living, right there around all these neighborhoods, many neighborhoods, master plan communities, green space, very well kept, parks within the communities as well as outside, A-rated schools. It's all there.
Top performing schools and home of the very first charter school.
So Elliott Road goes east to west through, starting from the west, it goes through Chandler, then Gilbert, and then Mesa. But it's in Mesa and Chandler where all the businesses are that they work at, but they live in Gilbert. And so you don't have the businesses there, but they're right outside. So your drive time to these businesses is 5-10 minutes. That's it. And yet you've got all the amenities of living in Gilbert, which is the best, really, suburb of the Phoenix Metroplex, one of the top. And that's why we're talking about it.
That's right. And even though there's this huge tech corridor going on now, still some agricultural fields around, which makes it just more pleasant, more relaxed, and once again, great family place.
Which is great when you're raising a family. You know, I raised my kids in the Pacific Northwest in rural towns where we had lots of farming, which was one of the things that we loved about raising our kids, was places where you could, in the fall, go to the corn mazes and you pick your apple. But you wonder, am I going to miss these things? And you don't in Gilbert because the cornfield is right there. They are still growing those things, and you can still give your kids that experience that you had in those farming communities right here, and still be, you know, next to the tech corridor and have your tech job and, you know, be in the big city. You still can. In fact, you're 20 minutes from the big city.
Well, and Queen Creek is right next door.
Oh, yes.
And in Queen Creek, they have the Peach Festival. And you go and pick your peaches. They also have Queen Creek olives, and you can go get olive oil pressed right here in Arizona. So those are two of them right there, and they're literally 5 minutes from Gilbert. Okay, cons.
And my first one is cost of living. Yes, you can get a big house in Gilbert for a relatively low price per square foot, but the cost of housing is expensive in Gilbert, especially in comparison to the national average, and especially in comparison to some of the cities nearby Gilbert. I think, what did you say, the median price?
$590,000. But half of them underneath, but it stops at 400. So you're not going to find homes in the threes unless it's a townhome or a patio home, which aren't many. Most of them are single. Most of the properties in Gilbert are single family homes. They're not townhomes and patio homes, which you'll find everywhere else.
Exactly.
So that's a pro. But it's a con.
It's a con. They do say it's the number one city where millennials are purchasing homes.
Which makes it a seller's market. So sellers own the day. But still, there's 500 plus homes for sale at any one time. Right now, there's 500 plus homes. You can go and grab something in the 4s all the way up to 20 million. What's your other con, girlfriend?
Well, I was going to say weather, because it's not for everybody. 120 is not for everybody. It's for me. It is hot. And you do just need to learn about it. You need to learn safety when it comes to heat. And you acclimate surprisingly pretty quick. And you just learn how to live in it. You learn how to park under a tree. You learn how to go out earlier and go out later. And
go to the splash pad.
Go to the splash pad.
Go to that 4,000 square foot splash pad, which I would consider this a pro. Greta thinks it's a con, and maybe you moving from the north might think it's a con, but hey, you don't have to shovel snow. And you don't have to put on 3 layers of clothes with some boots over your heels to get someplace. So your cost of living is less, because the clothes you're wearing are t-shirts, shorts, and flip-flops. And that's most of the year. And you are enjoying the outdoors 365 days a year instead of just, now, when it's 115 out there for a couple of days a year, you don't want to be outside. But a lot of people that love to exercise are out at 4:45 a.m. They finish by as the sun is rising. It's absolutely gorgeous, and a lot of people do that.
A lot do.
Exercise all year round. And you know, it's kind of hard to do when there's 4 feet of snow out there.
It's true.
Just saying.
I do think that when it comes to adjusting to weather, like snow, like that affects whether or not I can drive.
That's right.
Heat does not.
No, and I grew up, as you did, Christina. We grew up in the valley in the late 50s and 60s, and I tell you what, no one had air conditioning.
No.
Nobody.
No.
Nobody, and we survived just fine. We never knew the difference. Now we would say that, but
but it is not for everyone.
No,
some people just can't do it.
And then you drive north for in an hour, you're in the pine trees.
Yep.
And for those of you that don't know that, we have half of Arizona's in the pines, above 5,000 feet elevation. And so a lot of people have second homes up there, or they head to the beaches,
Lots
or
of
the
ways
lakes.
to deal.
Or there's lakes. I didn't mention that.
Lakes.
Gilbert is close because we're on the east side of the valley. We're close to Lake Roosevelt that you mentioned, Greta, which is one of our largest lakes. That's, just an hour and a half drive away. You've got 3 other lakes, Saguaro, Canyon, and Apache, that are about an hour and 15 away. So easy peasy.
Yeah, whatever.
So with all this growth, what's happening to traffic?
Yeah, it's
that a con?
I would say it's a con if you have to work downtown Phoenix.
Okay,
You have to think about the fact that Gilbert is further away. It's on the east side of the valley, and so you're joining Chandler and Mesa and Tempe as they all go downtown. So if you have to work downtown Phoenix, that's something to evaluate. Do I want to be that far away? But if you're only going a couple times a week, and again, it's not LA drive time. We're talking 45 minutes, an hour at the worst.
Yeah. Promise you a little talked about con. It's my water, and it's not, is there enough? Because there is, so don't worry. It's the taste of water. And it doesn't taste good when it comes out of the tap. But there are solutions, so don't worry. It's not going to kill you. I'm not saying it's poisonous, so I don't want anybody to panic.
No, you can cook with it, and you can drink it.
Yes, you can drink it.
It just doesn't taste.
It doesn't taste like that mountain spring water, like up in Flagstaff. It tastes delicious. It's just that it doesn't taste great. So you do a few things. You have a Brita filter, or you have it delivered from the Sparklets man or whatever, or you buy bottled water, by the case load, which is what. Or you have a system put into your house.
Into your home. And it's one of the things that you look for when you buy a home in the valley is you look for a home that has a water softener loop. It's in the garage, and it's just, you'll see a copper pipe come out. And people that have a system in place, they either put in a whole house water filter system like we have, so that I can drink out of any faucet in my house, and there's no chlorine coming into my house. So that's what we do. A lot of people will do the ones that are a little bit cheaper that put in a salt.
Okay.
So it softens the water, and
which you need with softener and good drinking water.
And it makes your hair pretty.
Well, it's that, and so it doesn't ruin your faucets, because if you don't have any system in your house, the water's really hard and it builds up around, the calcium deposits build up around your faucets, and then you're going through faucets every 5 to 10 years. It's really hard to keep them clean. And so a lot of people like to have the option to put the water softener in, but then when you do that, you've got to put a reverse osmosis system in for the refrigerator and your drinking water.
That takes the salt out.
It takes the salt out. Otherwise you end up with headaches. You can drink it, it's just headaches. So it's just something to think about when you decide to move to the valley. That's one of the things that you want to evaluate in a home.
Yeah.
So, it's okay.
It's okay. Just something you should probably know about.
Yeah.
Because maybe you don't if you've never lived in the desert.
Yeah.
Great. I love it.
Well, I hope you guys found this guide to Gilbert both informative and engaging. If you're a current or former resident of Chandler, we would love to hear from you in the comments below. Share your thoughts on Gilbert and any tips that you might have for those considering a move here. Your insights could really help highlight aspects we haven't covered. If you enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more content. And don't forget to check out our complete blog tour of Gilbert and our detailed map tour, where we dive deeper into what this wonderful city has to offer. These videos are a perfect next step for getting to know the area better. Thanks for joining us, and we hope to see you around town soon.